And what it means to the people is being a patron because they have somebody to look up to, and
Hmm.
they see that even though they are still at school and they love the music, there are people who can be there and give them support as much as we can. As the old saying is, you don't speak until you're spoken to. So that's just a little etiquette when you go and meet the royals out in public.
I'm Farah Shammas. Welcome to Hotel Talk. We hope you enjoy listening to this friendly conversation between people connected by real life in hotels. Hi, everyone. Today I'm so excited to have another member from the royal family, also from Serbia, Princess Katarina of Serbia. We did have Princess Katarina, your nephew, I believe, here. Yes, last year on Hotel Talk, one
Oh,
of our first guests. So I'm so happy to have you with us as well. Welcome, welcome.
thank you very much.
This is going to be so exciting. I can't wait to listen to all you have to say because everything you always say is so interesting. Um, so I'm so happy we've managed to do this. Princess Katarina and I met at a conference about a year ago, I think now, in London.
It's
But
about a year ago.
yes, but we have many connections and know a lot of
Well,
mutual
one of
people.
them, I
So
think, is your aunt.
yes, one is
Yes.
my aunt,
Yes.
absolutely. Aunt, yeah, my Auntie Maria. And then of course I'd met your husband, and my mother was a friend of your husband's many, many years ago.
I think Desmond de Silva.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes,
My
yes,
mother,
yes.
yeah. My mother knew Desmond many years ago, I think when she first moved to London. So
Oh,
yeah.
wonderful. Because she must have then been involved with the law or something like that.
No, no, it was through mutual friends. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So let's start by telling everyone a little bit about you. You give them an intro. Um, who is Princess Katarina of Serbia?
I'm Princess Katarina of Serbia through my mother and my father. So my father is through the second son of Queen Victoria, and my mother is through the third or the last son. And my mother is actually through a very interesting side of the family because her grandmother was Princess Alice of Greece.
Wow.
And she was a very, very interesting person. I think if you've watched The Crown,
Yes.
you've seen what an interesting person she is. She had done a huge amount of good for the Jewish community during the last war. And
Hmm.
because she had a disability of being deaf, she could pretend she didn't understand what people were saying. And even though she understood. And from that way, she was
And she
able
could
to
lip read.
say
Yeah.
completely. And my father is also through Queen Victoria, and his grandmother was Queen Marie of Romania, who was the granddaughter of Queen Victoria.
Amazing, amazing. And you grew up
In England.
in England, in London. Were you born in London?
Yes, I was born in London, but I lived most of the time in the country, which was absolutely fantastic because I really am very much of a country person, but we do need the city. And
Yeah.
because the weather's been so hot just over the last few days, I was fortunate enough to go and visit friends in the country. So I didn't have to worry too much about the heat here in London. But it's great being able to get out and do things.
The best of both worlds, really, because London's fantastic and it's such a vibrant city with so much going on. But then, of course, the country is just so pretty and the British countryside is lovely.
It is absolutely beautiful. Yes, we have some wonderful hills, beautiful scenery, fantastic little villages, and one or two nice little towns. And of course, we quite often go and visit different churches from start go, basically, Saxon churches and Norman churches. And it actually is quite interesting because going to the churches, you also look in the cemetery there, and a lot of the gravestones are interesting. We saw one from Lawrence of Arabia, uh, Florence Nightingale, who actually would have been very close for my mother in many ways because she was a nurse and she also helped a lot of people as well. So the history behind the people who lived in the villages was absolutely fantastic. So it's a
Mm,
fascinating, interesting day.
definitely, definitely. So tell us a little bit more, for us normal folk, what it means to be royal, at least what it means to be royal to you, and the responsibility that comes with that.
Yes, there's lots of responsibilities, and a lot of people like you to be patrons of their charities or something like that. Because
Mm,
one of the charities I absolutely adore is English schools orchestras, and what it means to the people is being a patron because they have somebody to look up to, and
mm-hmm,
they see that even though they are still at school and they love the music, there are people who can be there and give them support as much as we can. And
mm,
it's a pity that we don't have more young people in music, but unfortunately, it is a very, very difficult career to go down. But it's a pleasure to be there and listening to the music. It's fantastic. So the last concert I went to regarding the English schools orchestras, I like to sit there and close my eyes because you then forget they're actually under 18 years of age and they are
wow, yeah,
absolutely amazing.
that's so lovely, and it's just so nice to have something that you're passionate about and that you're in a position to really help and
Yes.
contribute. So, oh my God, that leads me on actually to the next. Uh, my next question is looking at it from a different side. So, what challenges have you faced due to your royal status? Because I'm sure there have been many, and how have you overcome them?
Well, the challenge is I do things that I want to do. I support things I want to do. And I'm trying to sort of put foundations together with a business partner so that we can actually help people. And
Mm,
one of the things we want to do is help people with mental health. Um, it could be depression, it could be even more than that. It could be something that they were born with, it could be something which was brought upon them because of maybe a death in the family, or maybe, let's say, the pandemic, because a lot of people had to stay at home and people cannot cope sometimes being inside. There's so many different things we want to do. And with the National Health Service, you only have 6 or 12 appointments with someone, with a consultant who can help you, but that's not enough for some people. They need a lot more. And it's trying to help them and give them the encouragement to move forward and hopefully lead a normal life.
mm. I think that's so admirable and it's so important. And I think it's not even every year, every month, more and more issues like this come to surface of people who are not coping, whether it's because of social media, feeling alienated, we're not in the communities we used to be in, and people's mental health is really suffering because of it. So that definitely is a worthwhile cause. So tell us a little bit about your childhood, about growing up, about maybe the influences that you've had. I'd love to get on a little bit to etiquette and give our listeners some advice on not necessarily how to be royal, but I think um, I was brought up also in the UK and with very strict etiquette around manners and how to eat. And I recently saw my headmaster from my um, prep boarding school who said to me, the school hasn't changed so much. He went back to visit it, but he said, I did notice that the girls don't curtsy anymore. And I completely forgot that I grew up curtsying as well. So, yes, I'd love to hear your take on etiquette, a little bit of advice, but starting off really with telling us a bit about your early childhood years.
My early childhood years was living on a farm in Sussex. My father has always been a great hero for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been amazing because we used to just be able to run around on the farm. We had apples, and actually, my father was known for his apples in Sussex. And one used to help to bring in the harvest. I learned how to drive on a tractor, which did
Wow.
help enormously because being the only girl, I had to prove I was better than the boys. I loved helping picking apples, driving the tractor, bringing in the harvest. We always had animals at home, so we grew up with animals, which was fantastic. And it was great because you felt as if you were a normal person. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was not brought up in the sense that you are a princess, you got to do this, you got to do that. I was brought up to respect and understand people of all classes. Yes, you know where this is going to. um, my father always said to me, you've got to respect everybody because one, you don't know why they are in the situation that they are in. Um, my father and his family had to come out of Yugoslavia during the war. And he too grew up most of his life here in England. So he started to understand what it was like being, should I use the word displaced? But I
Yes,
don't use
well, I
the
think that's fair enough. I
displaced. He
actually
was a
think that's quite a
displaced
polite
person.
way. That's
Mm.
quite a polite way of putting it. And
It
it
was,
must have been very traumatic for him and the
I
whole
think
family.
he was about 10 years old. He could have been a year or two older.
Mm,
And, but it's the way that my grandmother brought him up, being a single mother at this point,
mm.
because my grandfather was assassinated. And he went to Cambridge University. And last year, I had the privilege of talking at, is it a Trinity College? I think it was
Mm-hmm.
Trinity College and or King's College. And it was all about the Lord Mountbatten lecture. And when I was taking the train to Cambridge, they said, can you actually speak about Lord Mountbatten? So the whole of my speech went out of the window.
Ah! Oh my
but,
goodness, that's
but
difficult.
it was quite fun, actually, because I had such a close relationship with my father, and my father had a very close relationship in many ways with Lord Mountbatten. So I told anecdotes of my father with Lord Mountbatten, and it actually was more successful than the speech I would have made.
Oh, how nice. Well, that's the thing on the fly, isn't it? It just
Yes,
works. Yeah.
it was fantastic. And so last year, I was sitting two or three people down from the master of Clare College,
Mm-hmm.
where my father went, and David Attenborough was there as well. And I was very lucky. I was invited to go and visit my father's room, which was very,
Ah,
very nice. It was very
touching.
emotional and very touching at the same time. So, it's great seeing this and being there. So it made more of a stay much happier.
I love that. So give us some etiquette tips. You're a very well
I
spoken lady who's used to traveling all over and being entertained at royal galas and so much more. What would you say is important for people to have in mind?
The best thing is mind your manners. But
Mind your manners. If
it
you
is
don't have
the
anything nice to say,
don't
don't say
say it.
anything at all.
Don't say it anything at all. But the thing is, when you go to a royal gala, and as a young girl, we actually went to one of the Queen's Jubilee galas, which was at the talk of the town, which is now um, the Hippodrome in Leicester Square. It was
Ah,
really fun because we always were brought up to curtsy to the Queen. And you just did a little bob. You don't go all the way down to the ground
hmm.
because you may never get up again or you might wobble. So just a little curtsy is always a very good way to greet a member of the royal family. So as a man, you just bob your head like this and
There you go.
very kind. It's just courteous. It's a sign of respect. It's shows that you don't have to sort of go and grab a hand, which you don't do.
Mm.
And you just put a smile on your face. And as the old saying is, you don't speak until you're spoken to. So that's just a little etiquette when you go and meet the royals out in public. So if
Amazing.
they want to shake your hand, then they shake your hand. It's
But you
they
don't
who do.
offer. Yeah.
You don't offer, they do the first movement.
That's so interesting. I know. I remember it. Okay, we've all seen The Crown, but I think one of my favorite scenes was when the United States president came over and just messed up everything and said it all wrong, which is understandable when you're not in that circle. And, when you should say Your Royal Highness, when you say Your Majesty, when you should say there's, certain times for certain. Yes, I'm sure I'd get
Exactly.
everything wrong.
But,
So,
let's go back to that particular person. That's his personality.
hmm,
And I'm sure he was told, but that was his personality. That is him. So, and the Queen is very good because then she sort of, right, okay, move on.
yeah, me with this. I know she was amazing. What an amazing role model for
She
so
was
many
fantastic.
generations. Yeah, this is absolutely wonderful, wonderful lady. So you've experienced country life, London life, and also the beauty of Sri Lanka.
I love Sri Lanka. My
Tell
daughter's
us a
living
little
there
bit
at the
about that.
moment.
Because your husband was
Is Sri
originally from,
Lankan.
yeah, from Sri Lanka. So tell us a bit about Sri Lanka. It's
Well,
definitely on my bucket list. I've heard it's just
it's a
stunning.
fantastic place to go to. It's beautiful there. They do have their problems, but the thing is, enjoy what there is.
Mm,
So, my daughter and I, we love taking the train there because you actually go through the countryside rather than go on the main roads. And by going through the countryside, you see the waterfalls, you maybe see crocodiles, you actually experience something which you don't when you're driving. So I'll tell you a little story. This is
please
before
do.
this is before you and I were not even thought of. So during the Second World War, my great 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 uncle, Lord Mountbatten, Admiral of the Fleet of the South Asia Seas, was out in Ceylon, and my late husband's grandfather was part of the War Council, which Lord Mountbatten was part of. So when my late husband, at the age of 5, he kept telling me that, at the age of 5, was in Kandy, and the first time they met each other, he was sitting on his knee, listening to the talks they had during the war. And as far as I understand, that the two sides had become great friends. And strangely enough, the greats and great greats, children had married. totally unaware of what the
Wow.
spirit of the other person was.
What an amazing story to unearth. That's
So
amazing.
that's a nice little thing to. So, I always think, when I go to the Gall Face Hotel, which is in Colombo, and it's right on the coastal front, and Prince Philip's first car is exhibiting there at the hotel. So that's rather nice
Ah,
that they kept that as a special thing, the memorial to the
yeah.
family. It's
Oh,
fantastic.
that's lovely. So tell us about motherhood, because you've just mentioned now your lovely daughter. She's living in Sri Lanka,
She's
yes?
living in Sri Lanka. She's got a few things she has to sort out there.
Hmm.
And I love my daughter very much. We
Oh,
talk very regularly. And it's been absolutely fantastic for her to be in Sri Lanka because she is doing the job that she wants to. She's loving it. She's an interior designer, decorator, and
amazing.
she has a very eclectic, very eclectic theme, and they love the styles. So with that, another story. Sorry, with that, her great aunt Minette de Silva was, if not the first, one of the first Asian women to be a well-known architect around the world.
Wow.
It runs in the family.
Definitely creativity must do. So that's so good. Um, and then, okay, now a little bit of a cheeky question. Who's your who's your favorite royal?
Oh,
If you'll answer that for me.
I can answer in many different ways. I think His Majesty is doing a fantastic job, and we always have a very happy meeting when we meet each other.
Hmm,
Prince Edward, I have the same sort of a meeting as well. And Princess Anne, I will say, she is just like my mother. So we know exactly where we stand there. But I think all the royal family have something special about themselves. So I can't actually say
yes,
this
it's
is my
one.
favorite. But, there's something wonderful about all of them. And
Hmm,
I want to say His Majesty is doing a fantastic job, particularly with all the issues he has at the present. And speedy recovery.
absolutely, absolutely. I think he's wonderful. And I'm always in awe of anybody who fights for sustainability and eco um,
Definitely.
friendly
Man after my
initiatives.
heart.
And oh, he's great. He's great. So I ask everybody this: your favorite quote. What would your favorite quote be?
It's a quote which I use all the time. And it's one thing, I think the Queen's mentioned it several times. Always respect everybody. The
Hmm.
reason why I choose that is because if you respect people, then you don't have to be nasty, you can be kind, and hopefully the good will always come through. And in the end, hopefully, we will be able to stop these horrible wars around the world. It's respect.
That's respect and kindness. I couldn't agree more. So, in closing, we have a tradition on Hotel Talk where all of the team at St. Raphael Resort and Marina in Limassol, Cyprus get to ask a question, put it in a crystal bowl, and then each podcast episode, the interviewee gets to pick one out. I've picked one out for you because you're not physically here and we're doing over Zoom. And your bonus question I picked out, it's quite a sweet one actually. It is, what is your favorite hobby and why?
Ah, does it have to be
Interesting.
one favorite hobby?
No, well, the question is, what's your favorite hobby? But I'm sure you
Okay.
can answer with several.
One of my favorite hobbies is golf. I'm now learning how to play golf because I think
Nice.
we need to get out. You meet a lot of people. I love swimming. I love horse riding, everything to do with the country. So golf is my new
Oh,
hobby.
that's so nice. And it's just being active, releasing
It
those
is.
endorphins, being out in nature. That would explain why you're always so positive and happy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Princess Katarina. I don't want to take more of your time. We are waiting for you here in Cyprus to see you, and I'll definitely see you at the next Creative Women Conference in London and hopefully in even more.
I look forward to that. Thank you so
Have,
very much. It's been a
thank
great
you.
pleasure.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
I really hope that you've enjoyed listening to Hotel Talk and this episode. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it helps us more than you may realize. And also, if you have enjoyed any episode more than maybe another, do share that with as many friends as possible, because whoever gets the most amount of downloads or likes after the first year, we will be donating 1,000 euros to a charity of their choice. So all your listens really help us. If you'd like to stay in touch, don't forget to hop along to St. Raphael Resort and Marina's website, join our Seahorse Club, and email the hotel anytime that you want to come and stay, quoting Hotel Talk to receive an exclusive offer just for you as our valued listener. So thanks once again, and here's to many more amazing episodes with you, our listener, in mind.